What is up, guys? We got Dirty Mike and Cobbs Creek Beef, as always, back with another episode of 4th and 26 Philly Sports. Man, you checked your pulse all weekend, right? After that crazy weekend we just had?
I'm still here, Doc. I didn't have cardiac arrest. There was no asystole.
Man, I mean, that was just that game four against Boston. I mean, that was one of the greatest games I've ever watched. I mean, just with the twists and the turns and just,
Overtime.
the overtime and then the buzzer beater that was a half a second too late. I mean, my
You
God,
know, you saw that. I think that was pretty clear. I
yeah,
think that was definitely noticeable. Obviously, they have to review it because they made the basket, but I
right.
think that was pretty noticeable.
Right. My initial reaction, like when it went off, was Tatum was just holding on to the ball way too long and he just passed it way too late. And just, I saw the buzzer turn red and it just looked like he really hadn't gotten the ball in the air yet, but it had to go in, just to dig it in a little bit. But, yeah, I'm just glad he didn't make, I'm glad Smart didn't make that shot at the end of regulation because he was wide open on that one. That was a wide open three.
Foods, they were practically the same play. I don't understand what Missoula was doing. Like, I really do think if you have at least
You got to
two
call time.
timeouts,
Yeah.
didn't work the first time, you got to call a timeout. You get two possessions at the most, and then
Draw up a
you
play.
you double team Embiid and you let Harden loose in the corner. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he came out afterwards and said it was a mistake not calling a timeout in those
Yeah,
spots. And,
think?
he's a young coach. Yeah, he's a young coach. He's going to make the mistakes. But thank
I
God
hear
he
you.
did. Because, the Sixers are 2-2 now. We do have life again. We weren't going to come back if we were down 3-1 against Boston. We weren't going to win three in a row. Let's just, get it out there. We weren't going to come back. But
Life support.
it's a new series. It's a best of three. How do you feel right now?
Well, now that it's the best of three. All right, so Foods, I look at it this way. Okay. So now it's going to come down to experience. And I do believe, they went to the conference finals last year.
They went to the finals last
Right.
year.
For
Yeah,
finals. Yeah, that's right.
they went to the
Regular
finals.
finals. Yeah. But, I think that, that's going to help them. But I really do think that if Doc can buckle down, and my God, I don't know if they're going to be able to steal a game there, but I do see it going to 7 games. I could see
I think
this
it's going
being
to
a
be seven as
seven-game
well.
series.
Yeah, I mean the defense, the intensity that we came out with in the beginning of Game Four, the first half of Game Four. I mean, we completely stifled the Celtics. If they weren't hitting all the threes that they were hitting, like the high percentage of them, we probably would have been up by 20 points at halftime of that game. I mean, the defensive intensity was fantastic in that game, but it kind of seems like we kind of let up a little bit somewhere, the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. It almost seemed like we were kind of resting on the lead, and you can't do that with the Celtics. They can definitely, crank up their defense and put up a lot of points real quick. It looked like a lot of people were kind of standing around, playing too much ISO ball with the Sixers. The ball wasn't moving around a whole lot, but ultimately we came out of it with a victory. And like you said, we need to put it together and try to steal one game in Boston if we're going to win the series.
I think it can be done, and I'll tell you what. I think Boston might be a little inside their heads now, realizing that, like, you hear that sound, right? Boop, boop, boop. That would have been life support for us if we would have lost that.
Yeah.
But now it's 2-2. It's a brand new series. I think that I really want to say that we can get this to Game 7, but if we do, I don't know. In Boston, that's going to be a tough one. But I mean, I will say that I think that 7 games is definitely in the cards for us, and it's nice to see that Harden is coming back to be vintage Harden. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that he's MVP level Harden, but he's close. And I know that he had leads for assists this year.
Yeah.
So, nothing to sneeze at. And I think our two players, I think there's more talent on the Celtics, but the ceiling of our best players are higher than the ceiling of their player. Not by a lot, but
Yeah, I heard some people talking about that. Like, usually after 4 games of a series, you kind of have an idea of who the best team is in the series. And I mean, I honestly don't know, Foods. I look at it, and the Celtics do have a really good lineup. They play really well together, but they also have moments where they just kind of choke.
Yeah,
Uh,
brain fart.
yeah, and then we have moments where our stars kind of just disappear because games 2 and 3, Harden was just awful. He was being hesitant. He was deferring the passing the ball. I think the Sixers are at the best when Harden is, being aggressive with the ball for sure. And we got to have a big game from Maxey. I really haven't seen a whole lot from Maxey this series. Tobias Harris has to step up, but
Stop
more
missing
Maxey.
layups. Stop missing the layups.
Yeah, yeah, that Melton layup really pissed me off, and I can't tell you how many times this playoffs I've seen Harden blow by his defender only to get blocked from behind at the rim. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if he's just lost a step, but he's had a step on all those plays, and it just seems like he just keeps getting blocked from behind on blow bys. And I saw some kind of stat on it, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know like if he feels like he needs to dish it out at the last second or he thinks that like he's blocked and he can't get it, he's getting double teamed. I don't know what his deal is, but I'll tell you if he can solve that and they can get the other like you were saying, Maxi. I liked watching Tucker get in Embiid's ear.
Yeah,
That was
yeah, I
great.
like that. Yeah, that seemed to fire them up because at that point they were down by 5, I believe. The game
Oh,
was slipping away at that point.
mm,
The game had slipped away at that point, and he was firing them up.
yeah,
And
he's the only one with a ring, so I mean he can talk to him like that, you know.
yeah, I like seeing that happen, and I like Tucker being a little more aggressive. I'd like to see a switch in the starting lineup for Game 5. I would like to get Tucker out of there and get maybe Melton in there for
There's that bench again, Foods. We were talking about that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I
That's
just
not a bad idea. I mean, you were texting me about Niang. They got some decent role players. They just
yeah,
gotta steal like 8-9 minutes out of them, Foods, and mm,
yeah. Paul
we can do
Reed,
it.
yeah, you got to defend when the stars are out of the game, and you need Paul Reed and Melton and everybody in Niang to like really hold it down.
You think?
During
Sorry, I was gonna say. Do you think Matisse Thybulle somewhere like kicking himself? Like, oh my god, I should have been. If I could have just improved my offensive game a little bit, I could have still have played defense with.
yeah, he was a great defender, and he just couldn't figure out the offensive part of his game, and he definitely would have helped us out. I mean, I don't know how I feel about PJ Tucker Foods. I know he's a good leader for the team, and he can hit a three. He can hit the three, but I just hate seeing stat lines where he doesn't attempt a shot or score a
Mm,
point. You need your starters to contribute. You really do, and that's why I kind of was thinking maybe get Melton in there because he's a good he's a good defender as
mm.
well. So and he brings some life to the offensive side of the ball. So maybe split time with him and PJ Tucker, maybe a little bit more in Game 5. I like to see that happen.
Yeah, it's a brand new series, Foods. Let me ask you a quick question. When he came back, I'm talking about Embiid now. When he came
Yeah,
back for Game 2, and we were
yeah.
talking about this, I expected them to lose that game. But do you think that it was smart to play him?
Yeah, because if they didn't do that in Game 2, they would have done it in Game 3. I said to you that I like to see him maybe get eased back in Game 2 because he's not going to have a good game his first game back. And I thought maybe we said maybe play like 15, 20 minutes. But no, he had a full workload. He played it, but you could tell he wasn't in game shape after having 2 weeks off. And
Yeah,
he has a bulky brace on his knee, so he wasn't going to be in great shape for that first game back. So
yeah,
I'm glad that they got it out of the way because if they would have lost Game 2 without him, and then he would have been forced to come back Game 3 and then had another bad game, they would have probably been in the same hole that they ended up in anyway, down 2-1. But
yeah. Because
yeah,
when that Game 3, when they came back to the city, here, I mean, I don't know if you caught any of the pageant or any of the MVP
yeah,
uh,
I caught it.
celebration. Like it was decent. Like they were, they
Yeah,
did a good job. I felt bad. I mean,
they
it's just a
laid an
shame
egg.
they got shit on. Yeah, that night.
They got shit on real bad. I mean, if there ever was a game to like, high emotion and B finally got his MVP, his family's there, his kids there, they're finally in front of the home crowd. I really thought they were going to do something that game. And yeah, they got completely shit on. That was awful.
Yeah, it was a tough game. And I'm going to tell you what, even this game 4, man, it took
everything we had.
42 points from Harden, whatever it was, 34 from they combined for 76 points, the most in any Philly NBA playoff. Like
that's what scares me about this series the most. I feel like we have to be at our best to beat them and do everything right to where they can maybe have their B game and still beat us. There's more paths to victory for the Celtics than there are for us, and that's what kind of scares me.
You know what though? Conversely, you're right. I can't disagree with you. But imagine the fruits if they defeat them. Do you think if they are defeated, our path is just cut 100% easier? I'm not going to say it's in the bag because I mean the West. We got series right now. The games are playing right now. I think they're tied up 2-2.
Miami won tonight, and they're up 3-1.
Okay, that's 3-1. Okay, that's good. I thought the Lakers, and then it was Golden State, right?
Yeah, so if Miami ends up having a short series and finishes it up in 5, and then us and the Celtics, go at it and beat it up for 7 games, it definitely gives them a little bit of an advantage of some rest. But Miami scares me because Jimmy Butler is just out of his mind in the playoffs. And, I know they're missing Tyler Hero. And you look up and down their lineup, and I just don't fear Miami's lineup the same way I fear the Celtics. But, just for some reason, Miami seems to play above their talent level. And, I certainly think it's a lot easier matchup than the Bucks for sure. So, I definitely think it paves the way a little bit easier. The Heat play good defense, they do, and the Sixers struggle to put up points against the Heat. If you look at some of the games this year, they're definitely lower scoring matchups against them, but. They do have a rim protector with Bam that necessarily the Celtics don't have. I know Robert Williams is, their big guy, but I don't think he's as great of a defender as Bam is, and they seem to play some really good defense. But, we got to get past get past the Celtics first.
Right.
This reminds me of kind of like the Bulls were at the end of the 80s with the Pistons. They just couldn't get past the Pistons.
Goddamn bad boys.
Yeah, just year after year, they just kept getting shit on by them, and it kind of reminds me of that. And, we've been losing to the Celtics for a long time now, Foods, and we got to break this. We got to break it somehow, and this is the best year because if not, we talked about it before. I feel the process is over if we lose this series.
Yeah, you're not. It's a lot of people feel that way. That's what they're talking about up here. A lot of sports radio talk. A lot of I was watching some stuff on ESPN, YouTube and all. Quick side note: did you happen to see the game of the Suns against the Nuggets where Jokic?
Yes.
Oh my God! He pushed the GM. It
was the owner. He was the
owner.
owner.
That was hilarious, dude.
I don't think he knew who he was.
Ishiba, right? Something like that.
Something like that. I don't think he knew who he was. Dude was holding on to the ball. He's like, "Yo, give me the ball."
Would you have ejected it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it warranted an ejection for sure. But he got suspended, and he's not ejected for the next game. He's not suspended, but he got like a $15,000 fine or something.
Yeah, that's nothing. He can find that change in his fucking pocket.
I kind of feel like especially it was the owner of the other team. I mean, if it was just a fan and you got into like a little scuffle, okay, maybe. Things happen, but the owner of the other team, that's definitely kicking that up next level. But
that cracked me up watching that.
I did. I liked watching that too. That's just funny. But we got a new series at 2-2, and I believe they play tomorrow night. What time is the game? Maybe
Tuesday.
7:30, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, it's back up there. So we got 2-2, 1-1-1. Foods, if we can steal, I mean, again, how many times can we say it until it happens? But honestly, in the end, I think it's going to go 7. I think that we're in for a real great series either way, honestly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. All right, we spent about 15 minutes on that. Perfect. Let's pivot to the next topic, which is going to be the Eagles' schedule. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we did some coverage on the draft. Obviously by now we're all happy with how the Eagles did on their draft, and it was just amazing. And now we need to put it into action. We do have a tough schedule though this year.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And we got the majority of away games. We got the 9 and 8 home because we had last year. So, I mean, and obviously our normal schedule of divisional opponents, we got the slate there. You got your 6 games, right? Yeah, 6 games. I believe we have NFC West, AFC East. So I think you got the actual opponents. So
Yeah, let's go. We got we
what's
got our
going on?
normal two against Washington, two against Dallas, two against Giants. We got Arizona this year. We have San Francisco this year. We have Buffalo, the Rams, the
How do you
Dolphins.
feel about the Rams, Food? What are the Rams?
I don't know what the Rams are. I think they're going to be better than they were last year.
One would hope.
They definitely got hit by the injury bug last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Cooper Cup's always an issue. Um, I'll tell you, Foods. This is off topic, but I've always had a secret dream. You know how Chris Berman always makes up nicknames for players and all. I've secretly always wanted him to call Cooper Cup Cooper Two Girls in a Cup. I've always secretly wanted Chris Berman to whip that out in the show. I know he
he,
never would and probably
he
doesn't know.
would never even know like what that even means, but that's pretty
No,
funny.
but I've always kind of secretly, I've always secretly wanted to see that off topic. But when I think
That's
of the
how
Rams,
good they were last year. They were shit last year, dude.
they really were shit last year. They packed it in for sure, but they're going to be back this year. I think they'll be a playoff contending team next year.
Hmm.
Um,
Maybe
Miami,
in that division, I mean, yeah, it's possible.
yeah, Miami's going to be good. I think Tua is going to be back, healthy. He's probably only another concussion away from being retired. We got the Vikings. We got the Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to be better. We have Aaron Rodgers and the Jets this year. They're going to be,
Yeah. How
and
funny is that?
which is funny because that might have been the one game on the schedule to where we were like, we got the toughest, I think, strength of schedule in the league this year, but we were like, at least we're playing the Jets this year. But I think the Jets are going to be. I think they had the offensive and defensive rookies of the year. They had a pretty decent draft, and now they got Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, that's not going to be just a throwaway game. I don't think.
Mhm.
Uh, then we got the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Chiefs. I mean, and the Seattle Seahawks, which are going to be much better this year, and they were decent last year.
Yeah,
Um,
it made the playoffs. I mean,
I mean, we got the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. The Bucks probably will be contending for a playoff spot. The Jets will be contending for a playoff spot. I don't think New England's going to be that great this year. The Seahawks are going to be pretty good. The Vikings, they always kind of do good in the regular season and shit the bed. The Dolphins are a decent team. The Rams, the Bills are a Super Bowl contender. San Fran's a contender, and I think the only easy game I really see on the schedule is the Cardinals game. But hoping it's not in Arizona with that shit turf again.
well, you know what this tells me, Foods? Okay. So, what we just described with these games and what you just mentioned, this tells me we have to make some real, like, do some real damage in our division. I
Yeah,
think that
absolutely.
if we can get out of here, like I think we're just talking about this pregame of
Five
this
and
podcast,
one.
5 and 1.
5
If they could do that, I could see 12-5 in the regular season.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I don't see as great of a record as last year. I don't see 14-3 this year by any means.
Yeah.
I think the offense can maybe take another step forward this year, but just with the level of opponents,
So if they
um,
go 4-2, maybe it would be 11-6. You thinking that probably still be good enough to win the division?
yeah, yeah, I'd like to go 5 and one. I see us splitting with Dallas like we usually do. Um, we just can't have a bullshit, loss to the Giants or the Redskins. That seems to always kind of cost us a little bit. Like last year, fucking Quez Watkins costing us against the Redskins,
That's
but
good.
the Redskins, I think, are a complete mess. So I see us sweeping the Redskins next year. I don't see there any reason why we wouldn't. And the same thing probably with the Giants. Yeah, I see us going, unless we get swept by Dallas, which I certainly hope we don't. I see us going 5-1 in the division and another finally breaking the curse and winning 2 division titles in a row.
Yeah, it's been years, almost decade, right?
It's been like two. It's been like almost 20 years.
That's decades. That's crazy, Foods.
That
Woo,
is
that's insane.
since well, think about it. Since the early 2000s with the Eagles.
That also makes me think: Can we get? Because it's been a while for a Thanksgiving game against Dallas.
Oh, I
That's
would
been like
love that.
7 years. Yeah.
I would love a Thanksgiving game with the Cowboys. I like a Black Friday game with the Giants, and
Hmm.
give me a Christmas Day game.
Yeah.
I don't know what day Christmas falls on this year, but
I think it's a Monday, isn't it?
really,
Yeah, double check it. But I think it's a Monday, and I also want these games to stop being flexed if possible. Like I understand that it's going to happen, but like we're Super Bowl contending NFC champs. Like please don't push us to like 8 o'clock on a like a Sunday night or something when we had a great 1 o'clock game or.
yeah, Christmas is indeed Monday. There are differences with the NFL this year. I heard Adam Schefter talking about it a couple hours ago. Um,
Do
Networks
tell.
all teams are free agents for the networks. It's not going to be any more like CBS gets the AFC and Fox
Okay.
gets the NFC, and no teams are not going to be guaranteed primetime games. So they are going to feature the best teams. Games can be flexed at any point.
So they
So
can really open it up.
I think they're going to have, I don't want to say this wrong, but I think it's going to be something like they're going to have 2 games scheduled for like Monday night, and then they'll pick which one they want to do, which is kind of weird. I got to
Hmm.
really look and see how that is, but they're looking to get rid of having shit games on primetime schedules. They don't want to have the Browns and anyone like that on it.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of teams that just don't have any primetime games whatsoever this year. So I think they're really trying to push, have featured the best teams. So I see us having 5 or 6 primetime games this year.
That's not terrible as long as they're scheduled. I just don't want to have to like have a nice 1 o'clock game. I was all looking forward to it. Now I got a freaking 8 o'clock game. Sometimes it's okay, but like every now and then it annoys me.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have that much of an issue with it because I think we're going to be one of the teams that has the most,
But yeah,
scheduled primetime games, and unless we're playing like it, but sometimes that goes against you. Like if we're too good and then we're playing a team like Arizona or something, and they're shitty, they're going to flex the game out, possibly because they know we're probably going to shit on them. So sometimes when you're too good, it actually goes against you with that. But I think we're going to get probably 5 or 6 primetime games at least this year.
and then where's the Super Bowl's in Vegas? Correct? I
I
do
believe
believe
it.
it is in Vegas.
Yeah, I believe it's in Vegas next year. So yeah,
Well, that'll be interesting.
yeah, it will be. It's a good spot. It's a good stadium. I just can't wait for football to start. Honestly.
Dude, I hear you. I wish it would start. Like I said, I wish it would start tomorrow, but we still got OTAs. We still got, plenty of time before camp starts. I mean,
Yeah, this is that dead spot that we talked about, like after the draft, but before OTAs and training camp starts. I know people say the NFL is a 12-month, around the year schedule, but it's not. You get a couple months where there's really not much going on, and we're firmly sitting in it right now. Thank God we got the Sixers. The Phillies are treading water. Let's talk about the Phillies. They were hot. They were hot for a little while there. Got above 500, and then they lost that last swing game to Houston, and we didn't think much of it at the time. It's okay. We took the first 2 of the series, but that started what, a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, playing the Red Sox was really tough because they had a great record. I think they were like 23 and like what was that like when the series even began? It was like 20 something and like 14. They were killing it
No, they actually, believe it or not, they actually were pretty shitty. They were just starting to get it together because they're only 21-15 at the time, right now, and they
right
were
now. Oh,
right now.
maybe I
So,
was looking
and
at
I
it
think,
now. Then
yeah,
I thought I looked at the record and I thought because I was looking at Toronto too, and they're doing okay. They're not great. They're like third.
Toronto's 21-14, but
Yeah, they
Boston was hovering around 500. They were probably a game or two behind us when the series started, but
so
they were,
okay. I probably was looking at it now. Then yeah.
yeah, but they just started getting it together at that point, and you know, we definitely dropped a few games there, and looks like hopefully I think we're coming off a win, right? The last game we played was that
Yeah.
against Boston?
Yeah, they won that one. They actually
Yeah, 6-1. They won 6-1 yesterday.
yeah, and then they had the off day today. Now they got to play the Blue Jays for these. It's only a two gamer this upcoming, and then they got to go out west. I think they got to.
Rockies. They
That
play the
right?
Rockies. Yeah, they
And then
play
San Francisco too, right?
they play two at home against the Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
Three in
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah. Then we got a 6-game road trip. 3 in Colorado, 3 in San Francisco. So
Right,
hope
that's the one.
Colorado's not very good.
Right,
Colorado is actually kind of shitty, so I'd really like to see them sweep that series and maybe hopefully win the Giants series because they're 15-18, a similar record to us. I'd like to go
right.
12
Giants
and
aren't
5.
that great. Yeah.
Yeah, out of our next 8 games, I think if we could go 6-2, I think that would be really nice. But we got to get good starting pitching. We got to get past the 5th inning, and I don't
Need
know.
some. We need some good bats too. I mean, we need some consistent offense. Like having Bryce back is great, but he's going to take a little. He needs a little time. Last year when he came back, took a little time, but he got back into form. This is his like spring training. You know what I'm saying? He's still got to get back into the swing of things. I think that the pitching is not awful, but Kimbrel's looking like he's not looking great. He's Alvarado's okay. I don't think they're doing terrible, but they also haven't played divisional opponents yet, except for like the Marlins like a month ago. So these games that they're gonna have, I think when they come back, they got to play like the Cubs, stuff like that. But then they go and play away games in our division, Atlanta, the Mets.
Yeah, we
So
get
by the time we play them, Foods, we got to be back over 500.
Yeah,
Have to be.
I don't like sitting fourth in our division right now
No,
for sure.
no.
Aside Alvarado's having a great year.
Yeah, it was. I think he like what was his ERA? It was like under
1.88.
2. Yeah, it was great, dude. He was.
He's 1.88 with 15 strikeouts per 9 innings. Vasquez 1.69. Ortiz, he's 2.70. Even Brogdon's 3.06. Strom's actually looking the best out of any of our starting pitchers. He's got a 3.14 ERA, which is pretty good.
Mm,
Wheeler's still 4.26, Nola 4.6, but they started off way higher than that. So it seems like their ERAs are starting to drop now. The innings are
yeah.
kind of catching up. Falter. Let's talk about Bailey Falter.
Do we have to?
Yeah, unfortunately, he hasn't gotten much. He hasn't gotten much run support, but a 5.75 ERA is definitely no good. And
I don't think he has any wins, right?
he's 0-6.
Fuck, dude.
He's 0
That's not
6.
good. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. Some of those games he pitched halfway decent and probably could have got squeaked out a win if we would have put up some runs for him. But yeah, Bailey Falter's definitely having a rough go of it. 6'4", 175 pounds. That's skinny as fuck.
Mm-hmm. It is. That's toothpick territory. It's a
That's like
beanpole.
that's like Todd Pinkston territory.
Yeah, he was tall as shit. Top pick was like 6'7", right? Something crazy
No,
like
was he?
Was he?
He was
Look it up. I
taller.
think he was like 6'6", 6'7". That's
Really?
what I remember, man.
I thought he was 6'3". I thought he was around my height.
I feel like he was a little taller. 6'3" is pretty good. That's not bad for that. Was like T.O. T.O. was like 6.
when you type in Todd Pinkston in Google, one of the first things that comes up is Todd Pinkston alligator arms.
I
Todd
wonder
Pinkston
why.
Todd Pinkston was 6'3", same height as me,
Really?
167 pounds.
Wow, I thought he was taller than that.
No, he just looked taller than that because he was
Yeah.
so damn skinny. I'll have nightmares for the rest of my life of McNabb throwing that wide receiver screen to Todd Pinkston just to get him grabbed by the waist and just chucked out of bounds like a load of garbage.
Oh yeah, he was, dude. He was just absolutely like manageable. Like he had no weight. I mean, some speed, maybe some 50-50 balls he could contest. Thought he
Right.
was a little taller, but I mean, 6'3", 6'4", that's nothing that real. That's nothing ridiculously crazy for That's not like Harold Carmichael or something. You know what I mean?
No, no, it's certainly not. But I digress.
But
Let's
yeah,
talk.
so like
Let's talk about Bryce.
but going back to pitcher. Like, I mean, you definitely want to have some meat on you. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like Hamels, even though I guess Hamels was pretty damn good.
Yeah, yeah, he was lanky, and it kind of worked out for him for sure. Let's talk about Bryce Harper. Um, I can't remember any player coming off of a major injury like him not being designated for assignment and at least spending a week down in the minor leagues, especially since he didn't have any kind of spring training. Like, even if he had a spring training, played a few games, and then, got injured, came back, and, kind of went down for assignment. I've never seen anybody come right back and go right into the starting lineup with no spring training or nothing. I mean, have you ever seen that before?
Dude, he's a machine. I can't really. No, especially no. I mean, pitchers usually have, especially pitchers, like they need forever sometimes to warm up, work out timing with catchers and all that shit.
Yeah, and especially with hitters, because hitting, usually in the beginning of the season, the pitching's ahead of the hitting, and they start to heat up when the summer comes and they seeing all the repetition. But I mean, he's batting 368.
Yeah, I mean, like when Hamels would get injured, he would. Yeah, they definitely. There was never really any
I've
time
never,
that like
never.
people would just go right back into
No,
the lineup.
I know, unless you only missed like a couple games. But he missed the whole. Not only had Tommy John surgery, but didn't have any spring training whatsoever or participation. Yeah, it's very odd, but
What about
he,
Chase Utley? Wasn't there? Hmm, I don't know. I feel like Chase was injured,
maybe
or
for
maybe he
like
was the one who did the injuring because he like broke someone's foot or something like that in a
oh god,
slide.
yeah, yeah, he did, he did. I'm trying to remember who that was, but yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Like a Dodger. He was like a Dodger. So I don't know. This maybe it wasn't. He was with the Phillies, but I remember like he would get injured every now. But he would still get assignment, and he would get placed at AAA, work him up. But yeah, Bryce is he's a different type of player. Foods. I guess he just doesn't really need it, especially at DH. I guess they figured at DH they get him
Yeah,
that type of playing while they're able to use him in situations. I mean, I suppose it's whatever they could do to get him right back in the lineup as fast as
yeah,
possible.
yeah. I remember the talk was by the end of August, and then it kind of was a little. He was a little bit ahead of schedule. You were saying maybe
Yeah,
we would get him back in July, but to get him back at the very beginning of May is just it was crazy, and
and he's hitting. He's not
he's
doing
hitting.
terrible. Yeah.
He is hitting. So we got to get Trey Turner hitting though.
What's his BA there?
Trey Turner is currently hitting 264, which it isn't god awful. It was lower than that. Uh,
What's his OPS? What's on base percentage though?
his OPS is 718.
That's not terrible either. I mean,
Last 7 games, 7 hits out of 25 at bats, 7 strikeouts. I mean, he's
that's
playing a little.
300.
He's playing a little bit better. 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, but you want more from your $300 million man for sure. And I think Philly fans got a little bit ahead of themselves, with the World Baseball Classic. Him hitting grand slams and just he was a maniac. And I really thought that that was going to propel him into having a big season because he was already in hitting and game form, with the World Baseball Classic. And I
Mm.
really thought that that was going to propel him into having a monster season with the Phillies. But, it is what it is. We got him
Well,
for
still got
we
you
got him
got
for a long
time,
time.
Foods. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got time.
we got him for a long time. Castellanos is starting to hit again. He's actually up to 304, surprisingly.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah, he
starting.
was good. They're protecting him a lot. You can tell, like he's getting a lot better quality pitches, and he's also like working counts better. And I think that's helping the runners, the hitters behind him. Boom, various other hitters who would probably see better pitches or seeing like junkier pitches because they're trying to get them out. And it's
Yeah.
funny because like if Schwarber would start hitting a little better, like the perfect spots in the lineup, it would be a lot harder for opposing pitchers to throw
Well,
for us.
well, it looks like they've moved Schwarber out of the leadoff spot finally.
Right.
Um,
Okay. We were talking about
so
that last time, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, we were talking about he needed to. I think he's been batting fifth, which is great. Get him in the middle of the lineup. He's our home run hitter. He should be hitting in the middle of the lineup with people on base. Not
Yeah.
batting with nobody on base. You want him up there to do some damage. I always thought that was weird having him as a leadoff hitter.
I mean, look, they're tinkering. That's fine. I just need to see some more consistent offense.
Yeah, I mean Schwarber's only batting 188.
That's terrible.
It's
Terrible.
awful. It's just awful.
That's
Uh,
that's
he
abysmal.
he has 8 home runs, which is good for 13th. I see him being up towards the leaders. By the end of the season, the 76th in RBIs is pretty shitty.
Yeah. He should
Uh,
be double digit home runs by now, man.
yeah, he should be, but at that average 188, that's awful.
Mm. That tells me he's getting a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is getting a lot of strikeouts. Let me see here. Right now, his projections are for 37 home runs, 74 RBIs, 199 strikeouts. He's in Ryan Howard territory there.
That's funny you said that. I think there was a bet on the radio. Howard Eskin said he would kiss someone's ass if he got over 200 strikeouts. Schwarber.
I don't think you will. I don't think you will. He can't keep up this pace of striking out. He's too good of a player.
Yeah,
He'll probably still strike out 150 times for sure.
but not 200.
No, I saw I saw an absolutely crazy stat on Tony Gwynn with strikeouts. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. Like he died way too young, but like we don't give him enough. I don't think people give him enough credit for how great of a hitter he was.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. That Tony Gwynn was fucking amazing.
Let me see.
Mm.
All right, so in his entire 20-year career, Gwynn only struck out 434 times, an average of 20 times per season.
Jesus Christ. That's it?
Yeah.
That's
20,
ridiculous.
20 strikeouts per season on top of 12 top batting seasons. So, wow, he led the league in batting average 12 times.
I'm about to say his OPS, batting average, it must be ridiculous then.
All right, here's some good stats for him. For
All
Tony
right.
Gwynn, for
Please.
Tony Gwynn's career batting average, his career to slip below 300, he would have had to have 1,183 hitless at bats to his total.
That's like that stat with Gretzky. Like he still has more assists than anyone has like goals or something like that. I love stats like that.
On top of his 12 batting titles since the expansion era began in 1961, Gwynn owns 4 of the top hitting seasons. He hit 368 in 95, 370 in 87, 372 in 97, and 394 in the strike short in 94 season.
Damn. So he got better as he got older.
Yeah.
Like Nolan Ryan.
In 1994, Jeff Bagwell hit 368, the 13th best season since 1961, but still didn't even win the NL batting title because Gwynn was nearly 30 points better. Wow. Okay, in 2,400 games, Gwynn only had 34 multi strikeout games.
Damn. Wow,
That
I
is
wonder what like pitcher had his number. Like what pitcher? It must have been like closers, like closers from like like the Yankees and shit, yeah, in Boston, like that type. You know what I mean?
okay. Here's a good one for you. In '95, Gwynn struck out only 15 times in 535 at bats. Um, but this is a good one. Gwynn had 323 career at bats against Greg Maddux, um, Pedro Martinez, Tom Glavine, and John Smoltz. So they're four of the best pitchers, arguably, of the '90s, early 2000s, right?
Sure.
So off of those 323 at bats with those four pitchers, he struck out only three times.
God damn, dude.
Wow,
Wow.
that and Glavin's got him twice.
I got a feeling was the other one like Pedro? I think it might have been Pedro.
It doesn't even say. It does say
Uh,
Kurt Schilling managed to strike him out twice in 43 at bats.
I was actually Kurt Schilling when it was when I
Okay,
was
yeah,
talking about like closers and Yankees.
Neither Pedro Martinez or Greg Maddux ever struck him out.
No, so Pedro didn't. Okay, so yeah, it was definitely the other guys then, Smoltzy and all them.
Maddox faced Gwynn 107 times, and Gwynn hit 415 off of Maddox.
That's great. That alone is a crazy stat.
That is a crazy stat. So, when people talk about some of the greatest hitters of all time, obviously people go to Ted Williams, Pete Rose. You really hardly don't hear a lot of people talk about Tony Gwynn. And Tony Gwynn was a professional hitting machine, and he was one of the greatest hitters of all time. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, and he's been gets his recognition from that. But I really don't think people really talk about how great of a player he really truly was. And he was taken from us way too soon. He died really young.
We lost a few people in baseball over the years. Thurman Munson, couple of good players. So,
Yeah, but
but
that's some. I love crazy stats. I love
they
crazy
are there,
stats.
and this is why it's great about baseball, especially now that baseball's in full swing. 4th and 26 fans, you're gonna get the baseball from us, especially
Mhm.
since, like you said, Foods. This is the dead. We're in the dead zone.
Yeah,
We're dark territory right now for football. So
yeah.
we
These
need
next
to.
couple, once the Sixers are out of the playoffs, either they win or they don't. It's gonna be baseball just shoved down your throats.
Last thing before we go, I want to talk about the refs for the friggin' basketball, the
Yeah,
NBA.
yeah.
Dude,
I know
they
you had some
need,
beef with it. Let's hear it.
dude, oh my God. That shove that Tatum got away with,
Yeah, that
he
was
knocked him back
absurd.
like 7 feet, dude. What the fuck?
I mean, it was
And
so
then,
obvious. You saw the replay of it, and the ref
yeah,
was right fucking
he like
there.
knifed him, dude.
He really could have. He was like Paul Pierce. Just he was right there.
And
He
then
was.
the one that Embiid gets called for, like, dude, I don't know what's going on, but they need to smarten up. And that's
Yeah,
all I'm going to say.
yeah. It was a borderline one with the Embiid one. It looked like Smart was kind of leaning into him because
Mm,
Joel did the Euro step to like get
that's
around him, and he just barely caught him,
that's
and
what they said.
kind
Yeah,
of leaned into it a little bit, but okay. But if we didn't use our challenge on that play, we would have probably been able to challenge. Actually, could you challenge that elbow because there wasn't like a whistle or anything, and there was nothing called? I don't think you can challenge that.
that's a good question.
I don't
We
think
only get one or two challenges anyway, right?
you get
One, right?
one.
Yes.
But
So I
if
mean,
if
would you even
nothing
waste it there anyway? You know what I mean? Like,
if nothing's called, I don't think you can challenge it because there's nothing to challenge. Nothing was
right.
called. But that was so blatantly obvious. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was like full extension.
Yeah, they need to, and I understand that playoffs. You got to let them play, let the
Yeah,
big
but that was
dogs
a big part
run.
of the
But when
game.
it's that obvious, they can talk about it. The refs are like, "Oh, sorry, we missed that." Hey, no
Yeah,
problem. It'll just cost us the game next time.
yeah, absolutely. Definitely tighten it up, guys. I mean, seriously, it's what you're fucking paid to do. It's your only job, and it's a tough job. It is, because
There's only three of
realistically,
them. So
Yeah, you could call a. I still play basketball in a league, and
right.
I talk to the refs a lot, and they're like, guys, do you want to fucking play and just be at the free throw line all game, or do you want to actually play the game? We could call a foul on just about any play,
Mhm.
honestly, and we're a
Any
bunch of
sport
scruff.
too. NFL.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hold
Yeah.
on just about every play, and you want to put a product out there for people to play. You want to get the most obvious shit, but that was definitely a poor missed call for sure, and it could have cost us the game. It really could have.
So that's all I
So
was gonna say.
thank God it didn't cost us, and we can move on and not make too big of a deal of it. But definitely, I want to see that go in our favor next time. All right, guys, we're right at that 45-minute mark. Thanks again, 4th and 26 Philly Sports. Start leaving some comments in the comment section. Even if you don't agree with the shit that we're saying, let's get some discussion going. Let's get some arguments going. Whatever we got to do, guys. Uh,
Debate. I don't mind anything. I love it.
absolutely.
Bring it on.
All right, guys, we'll be back. Have a safe week, and we'll be back shortly for some more coverage. Take care, Beef.
Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.